Good evening. How's it going, everyone? It's Saturday night here, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do this video that I was thinking about. So this video here is a video I got thinking about my collection of music and records, and you know, I'm getting older now, soon to be turning 59, and I've got a variety of, like we all do, types of rock in my collection, and I like that because it gives a variety of stuff to turn to and listen to. There's a group of records and bands in my collection that I've had a long time. They were like the early start of my collection, most of this stuff. And as time has gone on, and you get older and you get exposed to a lot more rock music through channels and through the radio, and a lot of social media stuff nowadays, and a lot of channels. And I've gotten older, and I've introduced myself through these channels to a lot of cool genres and types of branches of rock music that are not what I ever thought I'd listen to when I was young. And when we were young, I'm a twin. Me and my twin brother, we used to listen to, I was into the music hardcore since I was like a young guy, like early teens. And of course, like a lot of us, life happens, and different things happen in my life that derailed some of my musical path. That's for sure. But when I was young, I was really into what we called back then heavy metal. And when I think about it, I always kind of laughed at that term because I was into rock, hard rock, but the early stuff I was into, I guess, was called heavy metal. And I got thinking about doing a video about some of the early stuff that is in my collection that comes from that genre or branch of metal music, if you want to call it that. Nowadays, of course, in these different sites that I follow and different groups, it's cool that I've learned a lot about different genres of metal and hard rock music and different titles of it that I'm not sure that I'll really ever get into, because I've really, as we do, right? We get older, we get more mellow and less tolerant of some of the hardcore stuff. A lot of the stuff that I do have, though, I still love to listen to, for short durations and get a taste of it, and it brings you back and it gets your blood flowing. It's very cool. So the stuff that I want to show is I wanted to highlight some of the cool records in my collection that came from that genre, but not necessarily the early Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. I've shown that kind of stuff before, and that was very important to me. But there's a lot of stuff that I have that is from bands that are a little less known, maybe, but still very important in carving out the genre of metal music, and then progressive metal and power metal and all this kind of stuff that is called out anymore. And this stuff was what we listened to when I was young, and I kept in my collection all these years. It came with me. It moved around in life, and I kept in very good shape. So I'm happy to have it. It's kind of a gas to look at, and I wanted to share it, and I guess give a little bit of a highlight to these bands. Now, the other part of the story is that most of this stuff is from early 80s. So we're talking 80, 82, 83, 84. And in most cases, it's funny, I've got 2 albums of bands from this genre in that time frame, or 1 album, usually the debut or early album, and nothing after. Well, that's a lifetime situation. That's what happened to me. I was like 18 at the time, 17, and after that, shit got real. Had to get going here as an adult. I had to grow up fast, grow up early. Family stuff happened. I had to get on with it. And, there wasn't a lot of fooling around with the hobby. And I kind of had to sort of, fast track my adult life. And that's what happened. And I kind of got derailed from my buying a lot of this stuff. And then, you know, as I say, as I've gotten older, I've been able to get right back into my hobby, and it's fun. But I wanted to share this kind of stuff because it might bring a smile to some people watching that are close to my age, or you might get a kick out of it. And I do have to, you know, it's a little bit of a, hey man, this is where it started as far as hard rock, heavy metal music. Like I work at a place with a lot of younger fellas, and some of them are into cool music, some of them are into really cool, like hardcore metal and different stuff like that. And you know, a lot of that stuff can look at the bands I'm about to show and say, well, these were the groundbreakers. This is what led to it. So this is what I'm talking about. One band, Accept. So I've got 2 Accept records. I've got this cool Restless and Wild. It's really cool. It's got a really great song called Fast as a Shark on here. The other thing, you know, I've shown this before and I've said it before, but all my stuff is on black vinyl, all the records, black vinyl, because back then it wasn't too common to get colored vinyl, and this is all thinner, you know, this isn't the 180 stuff. So anyways, yeah, Accept, Restless and Wild. What a cool, loud record. You know, and the other thing that's with this genre of music is that a lot of these bands are from different places around the world. So Accept is, there's the other one I have of theirs. They're German. Now this is the goofiest kind of cover in my entire collection. Balls to the Wall. What a funny kind of cover and insert inside of it, but it's got some pretty great stuff on here. So that's one band that I was really into back then. They've been around a long time. I mean, some of these bands are still going strong. You know, they're getting pretty late in life, but you know, in many cases they've changed members. But you know, it's funny, Accept are still, you know, still a band. Here's a band from Canada, and one of the true early, you know, in the genre, Anvil. I've got 2 Anvils, Forged in Fire. I mean, this tells you what it's like. Both these records have this cool little saying on it. This one here says, if it's too loud, you're too old, get the hell out, because you've been told, right on the back of the record. Just hilarious. Loud and awesome. So that's Forged in Fire, and of course I've got their big one here, Metal on Metal. What a cool record. Metal on Metal, and it's got the saying on the back, metal on metal, it's the only way. To hell with tomorrow, let's live for today. I mean, we were young, right? I mean, it's all jean jackets and long hair, and I mean, it was great stuff, man. It's fun to listen to. I love looking at it again. I haven't pulled out some of these records in some time, but yeah, so that's Accept and Anvil. So here's a funny one. This is a band from the new wave of British heavy metal, English band called Tokyo Blade. And I've got 2 of their records. Look at that cover. These guys are very cool. You know, that high-pitched vocal and really, you know, crazy good guitar work. Night of the Blade, Tokyo Blade. And both these are, you know, all this stuff I've kept in really nice shape. Surprisingly, they've made it through various moves in my life and growing up. So, you know, look at these records. They've got the cool inserts. So it's pretty fun to have. Kind of cool. So here's a band that was one of the bigger bands from my early metal days. And I'm actually wearing the shirt from the show that I saw them. I finally got a chance to see them years ago. It's been years now. And they opened for Scorpions, and that was a cool show. And the band is Queensryche. And this is their debut. It was a classic. So, you know, I've shown this before on my channel at various times, I guess. And yeah, Queensryche, great band. love them. They are one of those ones that you'd point to as, you know, progressive metal, one of the first to do it, and good stuff, you know, really great stuff on here. And here's a band that is a little bit more commonly known in rock, and unfortunately, you know, a band that lost its lead singer, but a cool story. This is a band that I saw open for Black Sabbath, Quiet Riot, and this is the follow-up album to the big album, and the big album was Metal Health that we all had as kids, and it was so cool. What a great record. And the guitarist Carlos Cavazo was just a wicked guitarist. Kevin DuBrow was the singer, and he was awesome. You know, Frankie Banali on drums, Rudy Sarzo, very famous on bass. So this is the band, though, that Randy Rhoads was part of initially when they first started out. So they were around a long time. And yeah, they sort of stuck around for a long time, but they're pretty much finished now. They've lost too many members, but they were great back then. Fun. And then there's some single albums I wanted to show you. This is a great album, Crocus, Headhunter. This had some great songs on it. Man, Stayed Awake All Night, that cool cover, and Headhunter, Eat the Rich. What a great album. Yeah, very cool stuff. And of course, you know, there's a band that became like massive, huge from the early genre, but this early record was why I got into them way back when. Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. This is a great record, kind of like really crunchy, heavy metal, almost punky at times, and man, what a great record. This is the best Crue. This and Shout at the Devil, for sure. Here's a Canadian band, Kick-Axe. This was their big record, Vices. Really a fun record, cool record. Fun to put on again. And here's kind of a funny one, Virgin Steel, got a goofy cover. They're a New York-based band. They've been around forever. They were around forever. Various, you know, lineups, and did a lot of records, but this is the only one I've had of theirs. And then a really, really big one from the Swedish guitar wizard sensation, who's very popular and known in a lot of hard rock circles, was in a band, Alcatraz, that, you know, briefly, because that was a brief band, but Weegie Malmsteen, and this is his solo debut record. Like, here's an example. I have this one record of his. That's it. And he did a whole lot of records, but, you know, I got it when I was in a phase of life where I was able to enjoy, you know, fall into some of the stuff and spend a bit of money on some of the stuff, but that changed in a fast way for me in life. That's just the way it goes. So, you know, the fun of being able to buy that kind of stuff and follow it, you know, ended abruptly. So, you know, that's the way it goes. So I just wanted to show these records. They're a lot of fun. You know, it reminds me of my, man, it just brings me right back. Over my shoulder here, Vandenberg, another band that I was into. That's a great record. So yeah, it's just a fun memory. Walk down memory lane a bit tonight with you guys. And yeah, I'm gonna do the vinyl tag that was presented and put out there, and I'm gonna do the Vinyl Community vinyl tag, probably my next video. I kind of already did it, picked the answers to the topics, so I'll present that next. But I wanted to hit this little video because it was on my mind, and I thought, I started pulling out these records tonight, and I was like, man, I listened to a couple of them too. It's great stuff still. Take care, all the best, like and subscribe if you like my stuff, and I'll see you again, okay? Guys, bye.